Greetings, brothers and sisters. I made a long video on my other channel yesterday, so I didn't get to make a video here. It's Hollywood celebrities dropping like flies. Miley Cyrus had a Katy Perry glitch, Madonna, Matthew Perry, and Kyrie Irving. The most important piece is the Kyrie Irving, which is a holdover from my last video here. So in the beginning of the video, I talked about how my wife sent me this video of some dude who was, it was like one of those videos where they, there's no audio and he's just pointing to little bits of text. And he said that he had these symptoms: no sleeping until 2 or 3 in the morning, very vivid dreams, headaches, also loss of appetite, which I didn't include in my other video yesterday. And so the first comment I looked at my other channel was, Paul, I have had exactly the same symptoms: not sleeping till 2 to 3 a.m., also having very vivid dreams for weeks, just started getting headaches. I never have headaches. I was floored when I heard you say that. I wonder what it is. So this has been a common thing where I've, for me at least here, where I've talked about something which I thought was something that I was just going through, or me and my family are going through, or me and my wife were going through. And then all of a sudden, there's all these other people who hear this and they say they're going through the same thing. The other thing was that the internet wasn't working as well. Like there was glitches and problems with the internet. So there's that. But that other video, like I said, it fed into the last video I made about Kanye and Kyrie Irving. So this is just something, on my Pac Laughs channel that's linked in the description box of this video. The other thing I want to get to before I get to all this stuff, there's so much stuff. There's, of course, JoJo Magoo stuff, and where Kanye will be a regular kind of a thing until he disappears or, goes into his dormant state or whatever it is. But there's a big thing to do on Hilaria, Baldwin that's kind of funny, and the origin of the Island Boys videos here. There's a bunch of stuff. I can't remember it all because it's built up over 2 days. But before we get to that, I want to say that if you send me a disappearing message on Instagram, I can't read them. I don't have Instagram on my phone because of their aggressive tracking software and all those things. And so if you send me a disappearing message, I can't read them. People do that all the time. I don't know why you do that, but I'm not reading them. The other thing is, if you start a comment with, please don't ban me, it's an auto ban and I don't read the comment. So as soon as I see, please don't ban me in a comment, it's an auto ban, because it means that you're saying something you should get banned for, and you're asking me to give you a break because you're compulsively having to say something that I've made it pretty clear in my multiple comments on the subject that I don't, tolerate here, right? You know that you're breaking the rules, and you want me to somehow give you a break and bend the rules for you, which is, a bannable offense, right? And so there are times maybe somebody is not sure of the rules or whatever it is, and so it's better just not to comment, right? I've made so many comment videos or concluded comment videos in the past that you should understand what are the parameters for banning people, right? And the number one is wasting my time. Like that's pretty much the underlying theme behind it. If you're wasting my time in some way, right? So that would be comments directed at me that have no value. You want me to read your comment and it has zero value to me or the channel or anybody else, right? That includes complaints, debates, and, telling me that I got this wrong or that wrong or something like this when I've already moved on, right? The video's been made. My position is clear. You can disagree all you want. Just don't tell me about it, right? And so when somebody puts up a boundary and you know about that boundary, and you say, I'm going to ignore that boundary, right? And I'm going to ask you to forgive me for ignoring the boundary, then, what do we do it here, right? Anyways, there's also a Corey Feldman thing, so we'll get into that in just a moment. Okay, so let's start here with Hilaria J. Baldwin. There was this, which is anonymous, with Hilaria J. Baldwin and Michelle Campbell Mason. It's a Mason of sorts. I'm really excited to share with you all what I've been working on for the past year. Today, Witches Anonymous podcast launches with iHeartRadio, with co-host as film producer and jewelry designer and Salem witch descendant Michelle Campbell Mason. Over the years, you have all turned this page into an incredible, inspiring, supportive community. This project is exploring women's relationships with each other. Oh, how long does this go on? Well, anyways, then there was this. Witches are people too, from Bewitched. That's part of her stories there. But there are a number of pictures. One of my viewers sent me this. My husband takes pics of us when we sleep. Does he? Like, is that who's doing this, right? He comes in and takes pictures while you're asleep. Used to make me roll my eyes. But co-sleeping with my babies during their first year has been one of my favorite things of being a mother, so thank you for documenting it. The problem with this claim is you can see that there's this photo. I treasure these almost identical photos that Rue Shoots takes when my baby is inside and out. As much as pregnancy and newborn phases can be hard, I'm so happy to have these to remember always. So this is the person Rue Shoots, or the name of their photography company. Here they are. Here's the person's of the Baldwin clan, and then some of these other photos, right? And you can see that most of these photos are professionally done. These are all, she says that Alec did this one, but the majority of these things, like this one here, right, these are all having a photographer. This is the one that she's posted on her page. And so there was this one from a while back. That's, they're sleeping, right? And why? They've hired a professional photographer to stage their life, right? She wants everyone to think that her life is so much better than it is. That's what Instagram is all about. And so this is posed. There's probably multiple pictures, and this is done in a very artsy way because it's done by a professional photographer. There's another one there. There's this one there. That one there, right? And like, why would that be a spontaneous moment, right? So they're posing. There you have a photographer there. And, it would be creepy if someone was taking these pictures if it was spontaneous, right? This person writes passion, but they are posing and acting for a photographer. This one as well, right? And then there's this superficial, like, embarrassingly cringy writing that goes with it. And that's why there's so much animosity towards her and her witch-like tendencies, because it's so fake, right? It's all these, they have a professional photographer come in and take these pictures. Somebody said that a few people comment they were bummed at these nails that were, but this is all done by professionals. There's that one again, and all of it, right? It's done by professionals who are trying to make her life look better and somehow like a fairy tale when it clearly isn't. When you have that many kids, it's not, right? It's a complete chaotic mess. It doesn't matter how many nannies you have or how much money you have. Kids this age are chaotic, and you put a bunch of them together and their chaos grows exponentially. So this was great. I meant to cover this a couple days ago, but I didn't get the chance because my video was too long. So Joe and Kamala are in some kind of campaign event here. And Joe wanders off. Kamala's a little bit like, what's he doing? He's starting to dance there. A little sort of dance, and Kamala's trying to pull him back because he's not supposed to be there. You know, they have, she pulls him back. She points, hey, we'll go over here. Let's watch it again. She touches him on the back and says, hey, we're supposed to go over here. Jojo Magoo, we're supposed to go over here, you. You senile effort, and she's laughing it off. And he's like, oh, okay, here we're going. And he's going, hey, I'm going to run. Look at me run. See, I'm fit. I'm not senile, or I'm looking at good shit. Like, he runs off the stage, right? Nancy Pelosi's daughter from a much earlier interview.
Just what are your feelings about this person who you know quite well becoming Speaker of the House for a second time?
She'll cut your head off and you won't even know you're bleeding. That's all you need to know about her.
Just what?
Well, what a wonderful person. Okay, so one of my viewers sent me this, and I'm very glad they did. Let's start here. It's the talk.
Wow, we are back with Corey Feldman and his band that now appears to have a new member. Looking good, Jerry.
Corey's rocking the Jesus stew. Jerry O'Connell is dressed in Corey-like clothing.
You fit right in the leather and all.
Listen, I thought if I'm going to perform with the Corey and his incredible band.
Yeah.
Woo! What happened to the Angels? Woo! Corey dumped his Angels. Woo! There's his Mangel right there.
That I better come correct.
So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Corey Feldman had a sort of like cult where he was managing, in air quotes, a bunch of young women who he made dress up in lingerie, live in his house with them, serve him, make him food. They could only eat fruit and vegetables to stay thin. They had to make his food for him. They were starving, and he didn't get them any sort of career, like he was supposed to be training them to be in Hollywood. And these women were, abused basically by him. He called them the Corey's Angels. And there's a couple of reality shows he used to cover.
People a lot of times compare me to Michael Jackson. They say I look like Michael Jackson, I dress like Michael Jackson, my music is like whatever.
Dance. Yeah. Do you pay those people to say?
I have helped a lot of women with their careers in Hollywood. And then I would realize they went off to be successful, and what did I get out of it? Not much.
He's just such a generous guy. What a generous fellow. He wasn't getting much, so he decided to form his own management company, i.e. cult, i.e. Well, you can see for yourself here.
Beautiful, talented women. Girls sign a contract with us so that when they do succeed, I can get rewards as well for the work that I've put into them.
And I bet you put a lot of work into him, Corey. I covered this years and years ago, but it's still great.
When the girls become angels, they move into my house.
So they weren't angels before, but then they move in your house and they become angels. That would probably make you God then, right, Corey?
And I'm one of Corey's angels.
And Corey's angel in training.
And I'm Corey's mangel.
Hello. Hello.
So his mangel is the only one who's stuck by him. The rest of the angels have bailed on him or Corey fired him. There's so many unanswered questions.
Also, I'm his girlfriend.
Sorry.
Is this a polyamorous relationship?
As far as what happens behind closed doors, it stays behind closed doors.
Nobody really wants to know what happens behind closed doors, Corey, right? Well, there are things like people get pricked by pins and say they've been stabbed and go to the hospital and roll the whole, as much as the media as they can, things like that.
We have a very kind of strict regimen. Rule number 1, we will put them on the angel diet.
The angel diet. They're on the angel diet.
That means no meat of any kind.
I'm a fruitarian, which means that I only eat fruit.
So that's how you find Corey attracted. You're malnourished. You're airheaded from lack of protein. Is that how Corey keeps you guys in this cult.
Number 2, exercise. I like watching you guys hop. Number 3.
That's an old meme of mine. I had those two things put together here.
And I'm Corey's angel.
Hello. Hello. Number 2, exercise. I like watching you guys hop. Don't allow men on the property unless they're invited guests. That's how you do it.
So those are Corey's Angels, right? And they also were part of his bogus band, and now no more. And so, you know, let's go back to it.
I really appreciate it. You look like a rock star, buddy.
No, he looks like Michael Jackson. I think he's actually... Is that Michael Jackson?
I'm actually going to expect some great performance now. Is everybody ready?
Yeah, are you leaving the stage? Are you and your band taking off? Because there they are there. There's Corey J. Feldman. There's Jerry O'Connell and River Phoenix. And that dude from Star Trek. We'll get back to this in a moment here. Look at Corey go. Look at him go.
When the night has come.
Is that Michael Jackson? There's his mangel there. There's some dude. Is he a pirate? Is he like a...
And the moon is the only light we'll see.
Go, Jerry. So if you're not familiar with Jerry O'Connell in his younger days, he was quite a chubster.
I lost the comb.
He lost his comb.
Forget it, Vern.
So that's Will Wheaton, who became quite a problem himself. He went on to be a obnoxious kid on Star Trek.